Hello, beautiful people. So, I've come back as usual. How many times have you come back? ये नहीं पता मुझे. I don't know. So, राधा रानी, जिंदगी जीना यहाँ, मरना यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ. मेरा नाम जोकर है. अच्छा, तो अब हम वापस से आ गए राधा रानी और मीरा बाई. पार्ट वार्ट को छोड़ दो, वैसे भी मेमोरी अच्छी नहीं है. कुछ ऐसे एमनीशिया है. तो ये कि कुछ ऐसे हैं वैसे चेक नहीं किया सही तरह मेडिकली सर्टिफिकेट. मैडम ने तुम्हें फोटोग्राफी के लिए सर्टिफिकेट नहीं, मुझे अगर सर्टिफिकेट देती तो कैसा सर्टिफिकेट होता. तो वर्ल्ड्स द वर्ल्ड्स, ये वर्ल्ड मुझे नहीं कहना, वर्ल्ड्स. ओ ये वाव. अच्छा, the world's greatest fool on earth. मोहब्बत में जागी न सोई ओ रे शाम. तो तुमने क्या, कुछ नहीं ऐसे. oh my goodness, do not sing me. So ऐसे तुमने गाना कौन सा डेडिकेट अपने लिए मैंने अच्छा ऐसा प्रिंसिपल के लिए था, कॉलेज के लिए था. शी इज फुल ऑफ फीलिंग्स, नथिंग बट फीलिंग्स. तो तुम्हें और कोई नहीं ऐसा कि अपने लिए कुछ और ये oh God, so many songs had come and you were stuck on one song for yourself. But ऐसे तो तुम देती, was it nothing at all? नहीं, वो चलता नहीं, टाइटल मेरे नाम पे नहीं चलता. तो मिनर्वा के लिए टॉप 20, टॉप 30 चार्ट अटैक सॉन्ग्स. और मामी, अल्लाह बेचारी मामी, प्रिंसिपल को पता नहीं सूट करा या नहीं करा. गिविंग यू द बेस्ट दैट आई गॉट. इट वाज बाय अनीता बेकर. और वैसे मैं सोच रही थी उनका फेवरेट अब हो गया था, थैंक गॉड वो नहीं रहा, बैंगल्स का वॉक लाइक एन इजिप्शियन. लेकिन वो हो गया अब ना. तुम्हारे जैसे पागल हो गई प्रिंसिपल. That her favorite song was now Bryan Adams. Everything I do it for you. खैर, मेरी बिल्ली मुझ पे ही मियाँ. वैसे मैंने ये लिखा था मिस्टर सर के लिए कि everything I do it for you. तो खैर ब्रायन एडम्स ने इसको सॉन्ग made a song out of it. So और ये क्या, अभी मीरा बाई, मुझे यकीन नहीं आता कि तुम ऐसे ऑफिस में बैठी थी इनके सामने और ये हुआ कि इन्होंने कहा कि मिस्टर सा was my teacher in St. Joseph's College. जैसे कि इसे नहीं पता था, नहीं इतना डिटेल में नहीं पता था ये पता था कि एल-ज़ीरा फिक्री वो अदर साइड ऑफ द गार्डन पार्क गई है। तो ऑन माय बर्थडे 1979 देखिए कौन सा दिन था, ईद मुबारक। अब 1979 का कैलेंडर, पहले तो ये हो रहा था कि इन्होंने मुझे कहा कि एल-ज़ीरा वाज माय, मुझे ऐसा लगा कि आई हैव हर्ड दिस बिफोर। No, I did not hear this before from Miss Tissa, but that only she's gone to her. Miss Tissa was a woman of secrets. नहीं, वैसे मुझे तो कहा था कि कोई secrets नहीं. She was a private woman. Woman. She was a private. क्यों? Miss Tissa को. She was a female. Private lady. That my lady. हमने एक स्टोरी बनाई थी कि मैं बर्ड हूँ इन द केज। मिस टिसा के घर पे। और क्या स्टोरी थी really? So please do not ask me so many personal questions. I have my life. Where did you go, my lady? Leave me. तो इसके साथ जो है ना वो बड़ी खिटपिट होती थी बर्ड और लेडी के बीच में। You do not talk to me like this. And do not laugh. जितना इसको सी the more you tell her not to do something, she does it. Munira, are you listening to Miss Asteria? Just hello. Oh, bird, do not sit like this. You know, Miss Desai sitting. So she was like, sit, sit cross-legged. तो किसी ने मुझे कहा it is quite unhealthy to sit. एक टांग. Oh God. Ya Allah, sit cross-legged in front of her and all that. पता नहीं क्या प्रॉब्लम था मिस टिसा को, कुछ हो। अभी हम एनालाइज नहीं। मिस टिसा को भी डॉक्टर फरोख अहमद के पास तो हाँ। वैसे सबसे ज्यादा तो मिस टिसा नीड थेरेपी। तुम तो बच्ची थी तो मुकद्दस ने भी यही कहा था कि मिस टिसा ये क्या बच्चों के साथ ऐसे वो टीचर तो हम तो स्कूल नहीं जाएंगे बाबा। अगर टीचर्स ऐसे हैं बच्चों के साथ, जीसस क्राइस्ट तुम बोलो जीसस। फिर बाद में बाइबल, no, the movie Jesus of Nazareth, I cried like anything. You know, if you do not accept, whoever does not accept or hurts these children, और पता नहीं क्या जीसस क्राइस्ट ने ऐसे बोला था बच्चों के बारे में कि वेल तो टीचर्स को थोड़ा ख्याल रखना। नहीं छोड़, we children must understand our teachers. नहीं कभी कभी तो children are little devils, rascals. No. हाँ अपने अगर उनके माँ बाप ऐसे तो वो, वरना बच्चे हाँ, they copy their parents. अरे बच्चों का क्या कसूर होता है? हाँ, तो हाँ, जैसे एडम था ना। क्या? ओह माय गॉड! तो मैंने तो बचपन से ही ऐसे देखे। ओह माय गुडनेस! मैंने जो हिपोक्रेसी दे बच्चों में, Adam was in third grade, my first third grade, when I joined in Karachi American School. तो वो बहुत हुआ था। ला तो ये क्या है? ये क्यों सिम्टम्स ऑफ नहीं। खैर अभी ये क्या पता नहीं है, इनको हम अभी एनालाइज नहीं करेंगे। सो टीचर्स को जो गुस्सा वुस्सा करते हैं ऐसे, तो ये कि ओह माय गॉड, the way Adam was this Britisher who had come to Karachi American School. कि Miss Tissa would not believe it. So once I had to tell Miss Tissa, finally, I decided to tell her that, so who sent Adam? मुझे यहाँ तो Miss Tissa के सामने, in front of Miss Tissa, if I tell you, it's like jaw-dropping, you know, like. बस याद नहीं दिलाए मुझे. I mean, at that time I was very strong or something. Right now I just cannot even imagine such a. The more you grow up, the more it's so shocking that children, 9 years old perhaps, or 10 in third grade, because I guess they travel, their parents traveled here and there, so maybe, you know, they missed out on the grade they were supposed to be in. But I think he was 8, 9, 10 years old in third grade. It's supposed to be 8 years old. I was 9. I'd come from London. And so my mother kept me in, put me in school when I was 2.5 years old, my goodness. So she was very this thing about education. For her, education was very important. So, so Adam. Anyways, I'm not talking about Adam and Allah. Allah, oh my God. मिस दिशा से वो सामने तो ऐसे बात करता था जैसे she was his favorite, most favorite teacher. मुझे पता नहीं कराची अमेरिकन स्कूल से कौन निकालना चाह रहा था शायद, कि I wanted to give him a kick in the rear in our French class, Mrs. Hadi's class. So the thing is that someone I know has brought out someone who looks like Adam, and I will not name them. He's an American, one is an American, and this person, they've come on YouTube. Adam had a squarish, roundish kind of a face or something. Anyways. So who is this person? Brian P. Grossi. तुम देखो. And it's not Simon, but another person. So, Lord, when Adam, my God, Give me some time, please. Thinking about it. Tawa, tawa, tawa. So Mr. Sa told me that you're jealous. Allah, मैं साफ नियत से गई थी कि Mr. Sa is अब after a period, PE period, we used to line up. The moment we would turn and just take a few steps, and he would start abusing Mr. and say such bad, filthy, foul things that, and just, like in a line, just beside me, or like boys, or same line, just ahead of me. Mr. Sa said, like, I see this car when I'm driving. I see the car which is ahead of in front of me, and not only the one which is in front of me, but the one which is in front of the front car. ये तुम्हारी इंग्लिश बहुत अच्छी है. तुम मिस्टर सा की कॉपी कर. अब मैं भूल गई हूँ. तुम मिस्टर सा के वर्ड्स भूल गई हो. जरा हमें यकीन नहीं आ रहा है कि तुम मिस्टर सा word to word भूल. Allah, what did she say in English? In English, Mr. Sa said in her straight accent, American Torah, because she was, before I was born, she joined Karachi American School just a year before. So she said, I watched the car that is in front of my car. No, I watched the, अच्छा अब मुझे नहीं आ रहा है, छोड़ दो, मुझे embarrass नहीं करो. तो so okay, Adam was, you see, there was a person in front of me, and then after that person was Adam. Every time we would leave PE class, and in elementary we wouldn't have PE class, not every day, but I remember getting up on Tuesdays or one day a week to go to school, because you see, I was missing London. It was quite a change for me. So I wouldn't go to Karachi American School in first year when I joined third grade. So I only liked to go when there was sports, the sports period. And then Adam came, and his behavior. Oh, so who is this person after me who wants to destroy my educational system, like my schooling? They couldn't do it in London, Cavendish School. I don't think, but I did have. They couldn't do it in school, but I did have surgery. I had appendix. Okay, anyways. So what happened is, after many years, when I joined St. Joseph's College, reluctantly going there, Ernestine made me go there. And so I met the Fikree one. So I had asked Sabia. Hajri had told me that the Fikree one was from the Fikree family, was a principal in St. Joseph's College. So I didn't know. I asked Sabia on their, what day was it? That modeling day, what do you call it? Oh, in St. Joseph's College. So she said, no, the principal. There were a group of teachers standing a few yards away from us. So I said, Sabia, is she there, this principal? Fikree family. She said, her last name is not Fikree. And she has another last name. So I said, oh, maybe she's married now. Because the way Hajri told me was that I thought she was young. That she just got married or something. So Hajri told me that she has married and that's why. So I thought she was young, not that old. And Sabia said, no, she must be in her office on her fashion show day in St. Joseph's College. So then I didn't see the principal. And then I later on asked Hajiri, and so she told me that she must be married and that's why her last name has changed. So I don't think Hajiri saw much of, no, but she knew about Mrs. Munira Gulzar having a bet with her. Ah, पागलपन अरे बेचारी नहीं ये her husband, late husband anyways, God send him to hell. Hellfire burn, 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 burn. You did not take care of my Mrs. Munira, Miss Munira Fikree. So, अच्छा तुम वो तो कंप्लीट कर लो इतना गुस्सा हाँ गुस्सा तो बहुत है दीवार which movie was that? No, that's another movie. Zanjeer, in which Amitabh Bachchan Saab was so angry man. He was called. He was known for his anger. So, where shall we go now? Where Meera Bai told Radha Rani that she used to play. They were table tennis. Alzira, Miss Desa's younger sister. And so I just when I told her about कोई पत्थर से ना मार वैसे जहरा वैसे या तो वैसे तुम सजदे किए थे यार ने मुझको रुला रुला दिया जाती हुई स्पिंसर कॉफी आइसक्रीम और ये गाना कोई फ्लूट पे और गाता था पता नहीं. It was terrible. I was crying inside for Mr. Sa. And then all of us cousins and my aunt Gaur, was she there? Or Altaf Ada. And by that time, yeah, I think, or no, this was before. No, afterwards. This is when Raju also had now come. So, no, we used to go to Spencer anyways. And then, so crying inside. I was very depressed for Miss Desa in the separation period. I could have died many times. Well, जैसे someone had forced me to be here. तौबा अल्लाह नहीं करे किसी के ऊपर ऐसा दिन आए. So when I was taking the daisies, I had to ask them, "Are you happy? I hope I'm not forcing you." So किसी को आप force नहीं करें. सबको free will है. So after that bus, if someone tries to I had to go to this school CAS forcefully, and it got a little better very slowly. And then St. Michael's School, so Mrs. Anne Nazareth was there. And then I was having these dreams that people who have died have. Mimi is alive and Daulat, my mother's sister, has come alive. So they're coming alive and all this, and and I'm I know I know this is a dream and yet a reality or something like that. It was very, very real, the dream. Or what is it that I cannot explain? And then I went to St. Joseph's College. And so that building, no, it was, not that building. And then when I saw Government College for Women, because it had this thing, reminded me of my dream. I was seeing people in the building, my people, like I saw my aunt, grandaunt, Mimi, come and she's telling me, I'm alive. I'm back. I've come back to life. So I know, I kind of know that Mimi, who could be Mimi, she's Italian. I'm not going to say this because I think I know. Because that person's daughter started to ask me something, and I said, she really liked me when she was younger. So Mimi is back. I have a feeling she's Italian now. Half Goan, half Italian. Mimi, I love Mimi is half Goan, half Italian. And so I don't know. No, I'm not sure, but and that's why I had this dream that she was in an accident. And then I heard that she was once burnt by some hot water. So I did not tell the family because, then they would have said that maybe it is a negative. If you say something, if you've dreamt some tragedy, you just give out some prayer and all this, and you don't speak about it. And you say, Inshallah, khair, good, will. But no, she got burnt. And then I said to this family that I had seen a dream. And also Muqaddas's daughter. I did not tell Muqaddas, but Muqaddas told me, you're right. because she was crawling and about to fall from the steps or this place on a high level, first floor or something like that. And she was saved. So I did not tell Muqaddas. I just prayed and, you take out some like sadka or something like that. And but she was saved. Muqaddas's daughter. I do think Mimi is back. She is. Okay, so Radha Rani met Meera Bai. First time, Miss Blossom took me. No, first time I went for admissions myself. And she was like, go look in the newspaper and all this. She was in a bad mood, Meera Bai, our principal. And so I said, okay, oh God. So I had no this thing of, I had already, like if I wasn't going to get close to anyone anyways. And I was going to love myself. I love myself because 1 minute of self-esteem and caring for myself and others. So I read this book, perhaps I don't know which book was the last. It was practice, 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 practice. So I read Candace's book and Candace Semigran, I think. And then I started to role play and tell myself that I'm going to love myself. So caring for oneself, yourself and others, 1 minute of self-esteem. It's a book by Candace, I think Semigran. Okay, now I'm not checking this, and this is not live stream. I'm so used to. So maybe I should pause this. So, excuse me. So the thing is that I got this thing of sending a birthday gift to Mimi. Someone's grandchild. So that's very strange. Every year, for some time, some years, and okay, Mimi is back. So my mother also had this dream that Mimi says that I'm in a great place, like very good home, palace type, and I'm very happy. My mother also had this dream. And so then, okay, back to Mrs. Munira Gulzar, Meera Bai, and Radha Rani. So the next time I met Mrs. Munira Gulzar in college was, it was in college with Miss Blossom. She took me to her office and I got my admissions there. And then what these people planned was that let's see if you get 100%. Cha. So my general history teacher in first year gave me a 4 out of 10 And this was my first test, class test in this intermediate. तौबा तौबा, A level first year करके intermediate first year में 4 out of 10 because I did not know the way system. So how to give the test and I mean, anyways, no, 4 out of 10. हाँ ऐसे ही था, बिल्कुल 4 out of 10. So the general history teacher, Miss Masuma Islam, Mrs. I know she had a daughter. She took me to the principal. Oh, and so I was just standing there, and she complained to the principal. The principal explained to me to read it like a novel. But Mrs. I didn't act smart with her, that this is not a novel. And there's nothing interesting about this. Akbar and, Indo-Pak history. Anyways, and so I just listened to her read it like a book, like a storybook and all this. And this is the advice she gave me. And she picked up the phone that I'm going to call your mother. And I was like, no, miss, don't call my mother. She's not well. So there were tears in my eyes. Bichari Raham kha gayi. She felt pity for me. Although I don't like people feeling pity, giving me sympathies and all this drama. I don't like to attract whatever they call it. I'm very shy about it. I don't like it because the self-pity and all this, I don't, and calling for pity and all this, I don't like. And so, I don't know how I ended up talking to Mrs. Masuma Islam later in the day, and she said, child, let me sew your button. My button was loose, my shirt's button. And I said, no, miss, it's okay. Thank you. And maybe I did not, I was very grateful. I may have sounded, but I was very distinct. I would not say thank you because, the moment you say thank you, it's like I felt it's not the words, but it's the feeling behind what you feel. So I didn't say thank you, but I said, no, miss, I'll do it myself. I didn't want to trouble my teacher. Miss Disa had once told me about my sleeves, that let me sew this for you. And I said, no, it's okay, Miss Disa, I'll get it done myself. So that, and then she told me, she said that, what is your problem? Tell me. So I said, miss, no, actually, I'll talk to she was saying that do you are a boy problem or X-rated, even if oh my God. So I was like, no, but then, so I said, no, miss, I'll tell the principal. I did not say my principal. I said I'll tell the principal about this. So I spoke to the principal, and she said, come in. And we had this time that I could go into her office and see her. And then I told her that what my problem was. And so that, so I knew that, of course I knew that she knew Miss Asteria Disa, my grandaunt, and also like, I mean, so many, no, when Alzira, my birthday, and yeah, see, Alzira, she had come to Karachi, and so she, on my birthday, it was my birthday, so I invited them all, the Desas, and Alzira had two daughters who looked like each other. So I said, "Are you two twins?" And they said, "No, no, we're not twins." I said, "Oh my God, you two look so much like twins, like each other." But they were not twins. And Miss Desa told me when they were leaving that, that house. Oh my God, the one Hajri used to point out to me. Abibi used to go there. So I said, she said, "Do you know the Fikrees and the house?" I said, "Oh, yeah, my mother must know them." My mother, no, I said my mother knows them. So this is in 1979. So she said, "My sister has gone there." And so Alzira did not come to my birthday, did not come to my place for my birthday. Only her two daughters came. So she said, "We're going there now." So that's it. And then what happened is, so here I was in Mrs. Munira Gulzar's office. Now, here was the Fikree and two ex-students of Miss Desa's encounter. But I was not interested in Mrs. Munira Gulzar. I had this problem, and then I couldn't afford to bring people into this problem of mine. So I was not really into this. And so I tried to just not bring out relations, and I didn't talk about Abibi and so you know Abibi and this, and your my aunt, one of my mother's cousin had come to your place for the maths dittos because that was another when I left Karachi American School. I went for an interview to St. Joseph's School, and so it was Miss Fauzia Fikree who gave for the entrance exam. But what entrance exam? Because I was a bit overage for this O levels, and so they didn't take me. My interview failed and all this because of my age problem. So kind of maybe when I left Karachi American School, I was a bit out of sorts and bit. I mean, yeah, upside, साफ साफ बोल दो जरा. इतना मुझे. So maybe I lost 1 year. I was at home, or maybe half a year, and then looking for schools to go to. So I said, okay, let's try St. Joseph's School because my mother loved convent. My mother used to tell my father that I wish I'd put my daughter in a convent school. So she wanted that for me. And so we went there. and Miss Fawzia Fikree had given Hajri. Hajri took me and also knew Father Lobo and all this. So she spoke to Father Lobo about me. Excuse me. So we went to St. Joseph's convent. It was like I was telling Hajri that will I have to cut my nails, and uniform was there, and tie my hair and all this. So she was saying yes, and all right. So I wasn't used to all this. Anyways, they didn't take me, so it was okay. And so Hajri had taken ad maths. Miss Fawzia Fikri still remembers, like how many, 8-9 years I'd seen them, and I spoke about this to them. And English, no, it was like the maths, ad maths, entrance test, and some other, maybe science or something. I don't know. Anyways, maybe, not sure. English and dittos coming, photocopies. So I had to practice some of that. And so then St. Joseph's College office, Miss Munira Gulzar, Mrs. Munira Gulzar, told me that her partner was Elzira in table tennis. In college, they were friends, and so of course I knew that. So she said, you know. So I didn't say anything. I was just. She was telling me about her table tennis friend partner in St. Joseph's College was Elzira. And so, you see, I'm very badnaam in this, the Tissa family. It's like Endless Love movie. It's like I burnt their house. And so, Elzira, if Elzira sees me, she would probably be very scared of me. She, excuse me. And because it's like I burnt Miss Tissa's house and all. And the Picharanko. Miss Tissa was very old and she could have had God forbid, a heart attack or something. So this is what I was feeling guilty. So I was a disdainful look on her face. And anyways, and they were all like, but anyways, the one in London was not her friend that I met in London. And so, and then I saw her brother to Valentine. And so her Miss Tissa's brother was very kind. I think it was her brother, I'm not sure, on the phone. Because he had an American accent. Maybe it was her brother who told me. So whatever he told me, I broke down over the phone with him. He told me, "Hello, And no one could console me. I was inconsolable. He told me, have courage. So there was not, loving a teacher, you don't have any pride or anything left in you. Yeah, so, such a pure relationship, such pure affection that any dirty point would not ever come in my mind, not even in my dreams. This was such a pure relationship, and they were like, this is unhealthy, Dr. Todd, and all this. Anyhow, so this is not about how what happened to me and Mr. Sa, but that Elzira and Mrs. Munira Gulzar. So I was just listening to her, and I was, because I had my own problem, I could not get over Mr. Sa. And I don't know what happened. When I spoke to her, and she spoke to me, and then it was, then, then it was, I went home. I didn't get into too much of this, that, oh, you were the one, and all that that Mr. Sa told me about. She was, that her sister was at your place, in 1979 when she came from Canada. Your friend Elzira, Mr. Sa's younger sister, who looks like Mr. Sa. Once I was, but when Mama passed away, and I went to their place, I did not think, she didn't look like Mr. Sa at that time. But when she had come in 1979, and we even met outside Intercontinental, and we said hi to each other and waved because they were in the car. They'd come to the pharmacy. Intercontinental, now it's Pearl Continental. So, Elzira was in the car, and Mr. Sa was in the car, 1979. Once I went to their house in 1979, and Elzira was sitting on the floor, and I looked at her, and I would have mistook her for being Miss Desa, her sister. I wonder what was Elzira. You don't have to say that. Miss Desa will kill you. Husband's name. Sab मैंने निकाला है, graveyard पे. Oh, so the whole family shajara is there. Anyways, so I don't know if Alessandra in London, and if she's married to Felix. Alessandra's husband's name was, or Elzira, or is married to Felix, and like that. So Radha Rani and Meera Bai had the same teacher once upon a time. I mean, I got severed, all ties severed. Like I had jumped on Miss Dessar, done something terrible to her. I don't know. And no, I did not jump on Miss Dessar at all. So I told Mrs. Munira Gulzar what I had done. Jumped on the car and all this. So it was after seeing the movie Flash Dance. It's like getting out of my car, and jumping on her screen. It was getting too much. And she didn't even care, like, she didn't stop the... She wanted me to die on that road from Agha Fatima Jinnah College to going towards, Gokul's house. On that road, main road, cars coming. I was on the other side. Cars coming this way, towards me. I was on the wrong lane. Allah. And Miss Tessa would not even... The more, like, she felt, the more stubborn she gets, the more I will not give in to her stubbornness. So she used to take me very negatively. ये नहीं कि अल्लाह तो like जैसे बच्चों के साथ जिद करना. हाँ तो वो गाना आया ना, बड़ी वफा से निभाई तुमने हमारी थोड़ी सी बेवफाई. तुम्हें ये जिद थी कि हम बुलाएं हमें. So it was my wish. So finally when this song came out, I could thank you India for giving me the words to express myself properly and tell Mr. Sa that Mr. Sa, I'm not being stubborn with you. It is just my wish that I should walk to your car. So Madam allowed me. No, Miss Shafiqa Fikree allowed me. And it meant a lot to me, but I would not tell her how much it meant to me. And Miss Shafiqa Fikree just gave me her bag when I just, may I help you with the bag? And she just... So they were very easy to love. And so Mrs. So the thing is, what happened is, again I was tested. They gave Miss Masuma Islam, Mrs. gave a test to us in general history, and she told me it's 100 out of 100. So that reminded me of my time with Miss Tissa in Karachi American School, when we had this in high school, this test in PE, and I would tell her that, paper test, like, what do you call it, theory. So I told her, Miss Desai, you see, I'll get 100%. And then I got 100%. And there was a time, like, being over smart, like, the test asked me for 7 things and I gave 9, 10 things. And so Miss Tissa got very angry at me. That she thought I was being over smart, Yeah, okay. See, this is a... Yeah, okay, yeah, I say. See, now this bad manners. Miss Tissa, if you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me. So anyways, so she said that no, when in the test, you're asked to write 7, what is it, like, give 7 items, like, or, like, I give 10. Or 2 extra. So she said, no, this is, so she got really, and if I would tell her that Miss Tisa, you're not treating me right. Anyways, just let her be. नहीं नहीं तुम no no no. So so she was very strict. No no, she was um, anyways, can you blame her? Because you see Adam, and then there were people who were saying that I've lied. I stuck my tongue out and all this. And I'm a freak and I'm a spoiled brat and all this. तो अमीर क्या चोरी चोरी का डायलॉग नहीं बोलना तो अमीर नहीं तुम अमीर हो तुम किसी से भी यू आर स्पॉइल्ड ब्रैट नो नो जब तुम्हें चाहिए मिस्टर सा इसका मतलब नहीं है कि मिस्टर सा तुम्हारे लिए बिल्कुल हाजिर हो नो नो ऐसी बात हो रही है like our grandma. You should not see this like one. You see, Miss Desa's pattern of thinking was quite negative. That this is what would have made me go insane in the later years. So because I came from a very gentle, my mother's, at least my grandaunt's, not my father's side, but so this was a, oh, sorry, yeah, sorry about the sound if you heard it. So it was just a stool. So what happened is, anyways, this thing, I don't know how I left Miss Tessa. She just went out of my subconscious, my conscious. It was a miracle of baby Mariam. So I got a new life in 1990. 1990s came. And so, yeah, I was sitting in the... So, anyways, my teacher took me back to the principal after I got this 10 out of 10, she told me, but that in history, they don't give this 10 out of 10. So I thought, okay, this is like Karachi American School. And so, oh God. So I was reluctant to, I was very scared to have any relationships with Mrs. Munira Gulzar. And maybe I tried to. So what happened is I was feeling so once in college, although I don't know what happened the next time, but the teacher took me to this her office, our principal's office, and she said, okay, good. I got a 10 out of 10, but she gave me 9 out of 10. So then I was sitting there on the common room where the door is, down there on the steps. And all of a sudden it was like darkness dared to go, and I was empty and all that. So, and then Mrs. Munira Gulzar came in the parlor, and I was completely emptied. I wasn't fearing. And I could not dream of letting go of Mr. Sa. Like it's either she comes back or I kill myself. I die. And I wondered later on, like after in 1989, whether I will be able to, even death will bring peace to me or not. Whether, death, because Mr. Sa is still alive. And I realized, oh my God, even what if, like वो गाना है ना, वो मेरी रूह भटकेगी 100 साल पहले मुझे तुमसे प्यार था. Maybe in this one or the other song, Indian song, रूह भटकेगी में ते इंतजार में. हाँ. So I can't recall 100 साल पहले maybe in this. So हाँ, मेरी रूह भटकेगी. So that really got to me also. And so all of a sudden it dawned on me in 1989 somewhere. And then my dreams were very dark, and we were in the new house now, and I was having these very bad dreams, like scary, that some, thieves are coming in, and oh my God, and I'm so scared. But once I joined college, that darkness went away and the fear went away. And I didn't have those scary dreams anymore. Excuse me. So that's how Radha Rani, Meera Bai, and the connections are many, like songs and Mujhe Dil Se. So my mother confiscated this cassette, Songs of Aina, Pakistani movie, from me because the year I'd separated from Mr. Sa, I bought this cassette and listening, or maybe I had it, and I was crying a lot listening to the song. I had many breakdowns. My mother saw me once. I just had a very bad breakdown and I couldn't stop crying. And so my mother said, I'm taking this cassette away from you. And she took it away from me. And she never gave it back to me. So, and what, so Krishna also, and so there's a lot on Krishna and Radha Rani, which in this present life, which I'm not at liberty to say. So when Mummy said to me in her house that why are all the Virgos after me? My 2 sons, my husband, and my daughter, meaning me. So that was on my birthday. I went to their place because that I couldn't go to college. So I thought I wasn't celebrating. I just wanted to see the principal. Kutte ki tum, teri ki teri. So I wasn't going to say it's my birthday, but then after the walks I was sitting and I made the stupid mistake. I said, let me see what date it is. And so the principal said, what's this? So I said, Miss, today is my birthday. And so she said, oh, you are a Virgo. And how come all the Virgos are after me? No, she said, why are all the Virgos after me? And she being Cancerian, so I kept quiet because Sri Krishna is also Cancerian. And so, but they're very, like, God knows what. And so I couldn't get this Cancerian in the sense that I could not get it. Sometimes it's all like sign language and coming and putting his, so I cannot say much. And so it's all this. Anyways, my cousin saw him and said that at first we thought that it is all in your mind, but now I saw it at a party. Raju told me, but it is all in, but it is. Huh? So, who stopped you at the gate? Yeah, that house. Sancha naam tera, tu sham mera. So it's not the same, but there's a, like in the Bobby, there's a long way. The gate opens and he was also wearing dark navy blue trousers, but he was wearing a, that off-white shirt, and I was wearing what did I, my pink and gray dress with it had a jacket with it. I bought it from Fenwick, London, that Brent Cross, long time ago. So this dress I wore, ah, Sancha naam tera, tu sham mera. Anyways, no, it was, it, it's all delusional stuff, nothing for real. And so it is all junk, nonsense, like Dr. Farooq Ahmed would say. Oh, Dr. Farooq Ahmed has nothing better to say. She thinks all this. So they were all harassing me, and I was like, so no, there's this recognition at sight. There's love at first sight and recognition. So, but Mrs. Munira Meerabai was like first, second, third, fourth, fifth time when she came in the parlor, and I was completely empty, and I was enjoying my emptiness and nothingness. And I was saying I'm going to keep a low profile in this college, and at least like I'm with the nuns are behind me, a convent school, Bibi Mariam statue is there, and I'm with all the Christians, my old place. I was in St. Vianney's, so this is my old area, and I'm in my old place. So this is going to be great. I was enjoying just being. without expecting. And then I saw all these students going up, rushing up. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? Because I was in a standstill. But they say that now, like, you're supposed to be dynamic when with this in this pure awareness. You're supposed to, but I felt I had burnt myself up with the grief and this. Now it's going to be low profile and just empty. Nothing is mine. And at the same time, I was like, all this religion and, achieving things and owning things and working for things. Well, this was my condition. I did like, so when I saw a rush of students going up for class and all, I was like, oh my God, what is this rush for? And it didn't make sense to me anymore. Like, so I was just enjoying my old times, and at the same time there came this fear, like, all this guilt but Miss Desai had come at in the outside the church, Zena's wedding. So when I looked at her, she smiled at me. So I didn't smile back. But what happened is, thank God I realized that she's not scared of me. All those times I went and harassed her for reconciliation and all, for her to come back. And so I may have disturbed the living daylights out of this family friend now, who wouldn't come back. So it was like 6 years of separation. So then she came. I saw her. I don't know whether she came or not, but my Jude was there beside me. He came out and he was standing there. And I said, Jude, did you? Later on, I told him, didn't you see Miss Desa? So he said he didn't see Miss Desa. So, but I was the only one, I guess, who saw Miss. I really did see Miss Desa. I did not see an apparition of it, although Mother Mary's statue was right on the left side. And I looked at Mother Mary because I had told Mother Mary that Mother Mary statue in Our Lady of Fatima Church outside. So we came out of the church and there she was standing, Miss Tessa, and she smiled at me. So at least one thing, after so many years looking disdainfully at me, and now she smiled at me, but it didn't, it just went, it didn't go through, like I just went through, like I just looked and I felt it was, I had grown very resentful towards her and very hard heart. Now I was the one who, all those years she looked at me disdainfully, frowning if I walked by and all. Hello. So sorry I paused and took a long break. I'm not sure where I was. But so with due respect to all this, all the names mentioned, personal things brought out as my story, and where was I as Radha Rani? So now I'll just talk about the most important in things in point form, I guess. Yeah. So all that delusional stuff. But then things coming to me with Mrs. Munira Gulzar miracles. I had around 10, 11 miracles. Uh, the daisy petals going up and all, and her voice coming to me day after, and voices coming like her when she had shouted at a staff member in Government College for Women and things like that. And so, like in that literature book, Jane Eyre or Jane Eyre or Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And so it was Villette before. No, Villette after. I read, but in my sequence was that it was like waiting for Mr. Saw. Or when I couldn't wait, then I'd write to her, beg her to come back. And if that didn't work, then go there and make a big mess out of myself. Arya Par. And so our neighbors were very good with me. Anyhow, Meera Bai came in the parlor, Mrs. Munira Gulzar, and all that. And Sri Krishna had done one modeling thing. So his picture came in the magazine, which I showed her. I showed Mrs. Munira Gulzar. So in second year of college, she was a great, loving mother, motherly type. I did not love her out of rebound, but grace, a miracle took place. I left Mr. Sa. She even went out of my subconscious, like no more the fool who waits around. And that's whose song is it? Anyways, sorry, I can't remember. And so nothing like in college, the memories. Yeah. So it was my childhood. Like then I read her in the annual. Like there came a Minerva, this thing that all some 20 years of Minerva or something, 30 years or so. There came this Miss Desai put something in the Minerva. So I read that and I said my name. I'm going to have my name in the Minerva too. And so I was doing like Shakti Gwen, trying to see, how many affirmations of mine come true. And they did. So my name came in the Minerva as a photographer of St. Joseph's College. Minerva was the annual yearbook of St. Joseph's College, or magazine type, a yearbook. You don't have to, it was like a yearbook. It was a yearbook of our St. Joseph's College. So then it's called a magazine. It is? Okay, so you don't know this? I only know that in Karachi American School we used to have the Safar yearbook. Okay, so this is our college magazine yearbook. And I forbid you to call it a yearbook. so, uh, so लानत है ऐसी स्कूल पे लानत curse your bless your enemies. So uh, Jesus Christ said bless your enemies. Anyways, this is now 1 hour and 25 minutes. So I think it's going to go to 2 hours, my story. So when Mrs. Munira Gulzar said, oh, this the Virgo thing and Cancer thing, how come all the Virgos are after me? And who are you of? I didn't ask her. I was just quite very happy with I found this gorgeous, wonderful lady whom I had always dreamt of. That वो क्या है वो गाना है ना ख्वाबों की कब आएगी तू मेरी नानी कब आएगी तू. So hey, I looked all my life for you, Aaron Neville and Linda Ronstadt. So now you're here. Hey, so she was very good for 2 years. Although in my first year, I had still had a year to see that I have no cards for Mr. Sa, no contact, nothing. But I had made friends in her, this thing, and in her area, the what do you call blocks. And so उस पे भी आसमां वाला गिरा दे बिजली मंजिलें अपनी. So Amitabh Bachchan Saab had injured his left hand. So in London the lady told me that your whole left side hurts. And then my left was hurting me and all this, right? So you see the block number there? It's not Mr. Sa's block number. In that song, मंजिलें अपनी जगह हैं रास्ते अपनी जगह पर के कोई हाथ ना दे. And Miss Disa did not want to let her, the child falls, gets up. They say not to help the butterfly thing, what's it called? That before it becomes a butterfly. Otherwise, it is not good. लटक रहे हैं उधर बालकनी के बाहर लटक रहे हैं and hanging on the edge, right? And she doesn't come. Let her die and fall or whatever. So it is take the responsibility. Why should she come? To help you if you want to be such a stupid fool. So Miss decide all these negative things about me that why should I help her? And once she even when we were doing our back bent in gymnastics, so she refused to help me. Then my friend said, I'll help you with your back, you have to put. So she was like this with me, I'm some untouchable. She was helping all the other students, but when it came to my turn, she refused to help me with the back bent gymnastic posture. So, yet, like I still, child, like, no, Miss Tisa, no, no. And I was like shocked. How can someone who you've loved truly be like this with you? uh, so I was in a shock. But at that time, I had a great heart, that the heart was pumped. Tuk, 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 tuk. And thank God I never got a heart attack or anything, and never at a young age like that. But oh God, very scared, to go to her place, and then she would say anything. Her mood could be like that, and so we didn't know. I didn't know how I would be. We didn't know, and I didn't know. This is schizophrenic. It's like the Quran, which has we, and then says I, and then says we at times. I was just going through Abdullah Samir and Abdullah Gondal thing right on YouTube about Prophet Muhammad and Allah, writing in plural like this, we and I, are changing it abruptly. So neither would we understand in the I. uh, so where was I now? I was in this, where was I? With Meera and I've forgotten. So I have these blocks also. Memory loss, amnesia. So Meera. Yeah, I don't know. She was very good, the principal. And this was not on rebound or anything. I was empty, and pain went. And this was like all of a sudden, like I was like, what was I doing there in the past with Mr. Sa? So I wouldn't tell them that I was in such a terrible, terrible, disgraceful, down on my knees. So it's like singing that song. Thank you, Michael Bolton. When I get on my feet again, I want to bow. When something like that. So now I can't remember. And Mrs. Munira Gulzar was very good until the second year ending. So I was listening to the song again, but I would not look at the video much. हम दोनों दो प्रेमी दुनिया छोड़ चले. So sorry about this. The getting stuck. So I was looking at her, observing her behavior, and I usually would I decided to give her unconditional love. And so I won't get hurt and she won't get hurt. And so it's not going to be an attachment. I told her I don't want to get attached to anyone. I'm very scared of attachments. So then she was very, very good. Very positive response from her I used to get. And also see that my my presence there, if I went in her office, her mood would be bright, her face, in high spirits. And she welcomed me like I was her favorite or something, but that she was happy. She acted very happy and bright and all this. So I thought whenever a mood was bad, that I would, stress in college, so much work or whatever it was. So, but once it became very prominent that she's she was avoiding me, and she looked quite like it had come, that cold, distant look on her face. So a few days I started to say, if she changes, let's see, and she was not changing. And so I thought, no, let me go and ask her, because if it is a problem with me, then how can I? But I thought I would go and ask her. I decided one day, and I went in her office, and her mood was still off. It wasn't like a bright face and welcoming me. And so I said, Miss, is something wrong? And she said, no, nothing. And so then, I could have said, are you sure? No. Of course. Mr. Saw would have said, what do you mean that I'm sure? So, and anyways, she was she was standing, and she wasn't even on her seat in her office. And she didn't even give me a face, so she was on the side, and she said, nothing. So I said, okay. So then I excused myself and left her office. I did not say, please, miss, don't lie, and this and that. So I knew that one day it would come that she would turn cold and all. Once I went for Eid to her place, and she always used to open her arms for me. She was the first person to do it when I went to her place. And then I saw that she didn't even come. I went in, and she was coming out of her room into this hallway, and I was there, and she just was very cold. She was kind of cold. So I said, oh my God, it's come. What I know, that people become very cold, change all of a sudden. And Mr. Saw in London, when I thought something was wrong between us, and I was told it was not you, it's some other problem. So you will not see her for 2 years. She will not see you for 2 years. So I had a dream that Mr. Saw, we're in Karachi American School, the path we take to go to the library, but we're now walking towards Mr. Saw's office. And we're just passing that, the place where it's open to go to the teacher's parking lot. We're passing that, going to the gym area side, and Mr. Sa tells me that Mrs. Munira Gulzar does love you. So I tell her that if she loves me, then why doesn't she talk to me or call me? So Mr. Sa goes dead silent, serious, like she's just very silent, and she doesn't answer me. So, So I don't know who it is that would make her mood like this against me, or make. I know there. So you see, I would blame Mr. Sala Bichari. You see, but the culprit is wanted me to separate from Mr. Sa, and then did also wanted me to um, and also in CAS it was quite apparent that my father was very irritated, like he's as a jerk or something. It was like, yeah, like after Miss Jamila Saidi now in CAS. And then Miss Jamila Saidi, once I invited her to my place, she didn't even come. We waited outside, my father and I. And then I told her, and then she said, okay, she'll come. She came with her son. That night, Ziolak died. So, and so after 2 years or something, you see, this cousin of mine, whom I told my father in 1986 that you mark my words, I will not marry him. In Dubai, I told him. And people warned me against marrying him, some people. And I also decided that there's no way I'm going to marry this person. So, he then all of a sudden, when he hasn't even been there, and so they're making me very angry at him. Although I don't want to waste my time thinking of such a low life, unfaithful, दगा देने वाला, यूज करने वाला, feelingless, and gave me that, that I'm some. And okay, if you have found Shahnaz, who is beautiful and all this, but she got married to someone else, so hard luck. Oh yes, and coincidentally, Tanhaya drama, So Miss Hasina Moin turned out to be Mrs. Munira Gulzar's student in in Government College for Women. And coincidentally, she had a nice drama, Tanhaya. Okay, this relationship. The dialogues were hitting me. I mean, they were like, not tin tin tin, but, and that thing, you see, Zan's father, he puts his finger on his, while talking to Zan, his son, and there are plants there. So Miss Desai burnt this place, above the upper lip. And there was this thing about money plant. Mutar's jins were saying that if you want to get married, teeth clattering, sabah, money plant. So that was just a year or two before this maddening thing happened, and Miss Disa finally decided that she either I stay or she stays in Karachi American School. So before that, she had this. She said she's been to, she used to go to up north, Gilgit and this area. She said she had this up north. She was smelling some flower or some poisonous plant, and her upper lip skin here, this area, where the men's mustache grows, on her side, one side, it burnt. So if you watch Tanhaya, Miss Hasina Moin's drama, the way he asks his son, Zan's father, asks Zan, like, so, and Miss Tissa now wanted this to be, otherwise you don't put Jolin bleach on your burnt skin. It's not allowed at all. But Miss Tissa insisted that I give her this Jolin bleach. So I said, okay, I'll give it to you, but it's not allowed. You're not allowed to put this on your burnt skin. Burnt skin, Jolin bleach, Dagh movie. There are 2 Dagh movies. So anyways, I'll try to figure that out. And I reckon my father and his family, maybe Sabah Sajwani wanted me dead or something. Or my father. Both of them. I don't know whose hand. And these guys, Shahnaz and Faryad, they had spread that, this thing with Miss Tissa relationship. So I thought like Miss Tissa was like Ram. First I thought, when I read the story of Ram, then I was thinking that since people are, they are spoiling my reputation and all this, so Miss Tissa could not take it. And so we went to see Jaws movie, also in the cinema hall in Karachi, near our house. It's called, that area is now Shara something, but before that it was called Guru Mandar Road, I think. Where all this capricious Prince, and there's another one, I've forgotten the name. I keep forgetting the name of the third cinema on that road. So Mrs. Munira Gulzar for 2 years was very good until maybe because I had said no to my cousin. And when he came wanting to marry me, or, whatever it was, whatever I said it is, let me just, I called him in my room and respectfully I told him that I'm really sorry, this cannot be, and all this. So he did say he had an ego and all this, and they don't care about Izzat, but the man is worried about his ego after coming from America with a double MBA degree, double, and he's worried about his, like he says he has his ego. I could have then also like abused him, but even if your enemy comes in the house, we cannot do this. So they caught me at the wrong time, and enemy comes to your house, you do not give them taunting and all this. So Mrs. Munira Gulzar changed. And if, like I told Dr. Todd, so I was like, oh God, you're going to show. One day God told me He's going to show Sapa Sajwani. Oh God, you're going to show Sapa Sajwani, you've shown me. And so I told Dr. Todd that she was adamant. She was like, Mr. You can't see Mr. Sa. And I've even spoken to Mr. Horton, and we have agreed and all this. So I told her that what if you lose your child? What if someone separates you from your son? She had an infant son at that time. She was in Karachi, this American psychologist who was working with Dr. Farooq C. Ahmed. So these people, they don't lose, dukhi ki aa nahi lena. Like, they say, varna. So, but so many people in Yemen suffering and nothing is happening to the enemy. And it's happening to us. So these people get away with treachery, crimes, mass murders, humanitarian crisis. And so I saw, like, I used to be afraid that what I've seen in my mother, sometimes, like, the heart murmur, doctor had said it's a normal heart murmur in London about my mother's case. When I used to hug the principal, her heartbeat was like a little tick, tick, like a. So I looked at heart murmur. So there is definitely innocent heart murmur, which no medical treatment is required for this. And so now when they said it's like a whoosh or a click, but Mrs. Munira Gulzar was, thank God, very, very strong lady, very stoic, and at the same time, very magnanimous and gentle. For 2 years, I saw her. Something went wrong after that. Someone must have spoken to her. So, like, Zina Taman in that song says, when Rajesh Khanna asks her, क्या क्यों क्या क्या सोच रही हो, like, so she says, कुछ भी तो नहीं, like that song again, हम दोनों दो प्रेमी दुनिया छोड़ चले, जीवन की हम सारी रस्में तोड़ चले. So mommy, yeah, so I've been tarping. They've got me so badly, going mad for mommy, like आराम नहीं करने देते. So I have to do this time and again. Obsessive thoughts and feelings. They can do this through black magic too. Like, I know when once you that rest I found when I had murgi epilepsy fall in the kitchen. No, it wasn't. I thought civics. So that was like first year civic exam. I was studying. I thought, let me see if I get another fall like this. So this was in 1990 when I was completing my first year and studying for my exams. I had this problem again, like I used to have sore throat, and so I asked my mother if she had some. She said she had an allergy pill. So I took an allergy pill and I took another different allergy pill. So maybe the two reacted and I just fell in my kitchenette. And I didn't want to get up. like I was standing and darkness came and I fell. And it was like I was conscious and it was like so peaceful. Peace I've never felt in my entire life. So it was like nothing. That peace I have never felt. Like what Mrs. Munira Gulzar said in her first uh, reinstatement, extension after retirement, 2 year, the speech she gave. She said that in her entire life, she has never felt this peace when we were, when we were saying we love Princey and all this. We had done this. The students and the teachers had gathered in the parlor and outside. And she was there in the parlor giving a speech. I have never felt this kind of peace in my entire life. A moment of peace here. Something like this, anyways. So I felt that when I fell in first year in the kitchen. It was really good. It was like I was completely empty. And peace. And I didn't want to get up because I'd never felt this kind of peace. So Tanhaya, like she was in the hospital. And so कुछ लोग आनी like Zara Ahmad, तुम जिंदगी को क्यों नहीं देखती हो ऐसे वैसे, और सॉरी यार मैं हसीना मन ऐसे वैसे कैसे हमारी जिंदगी तो मिस डिसा थी। ज़ारा तुम अपनी जिंदगी मिस डिसा को तुमने बनाए जब। See, it doesn't work. Leave it. Don't give me these lectures because you don't know what love is and loving pure relationships are. और जो खुदा जिनको मिलाना चाहता है उनको जुदा करने पे क्यों तुले हो? अपने आप को खुदा समझते हो? जिनको खुदा मिलाना चाहता है और मिला के ही रखेगा. None binds the way God binds. It's a verse in the Quran. And another one, they are the mischief makers whom God wants to be join, and who separate are the mischief makers. So they are criminal, corrupt criminals, mujrimeen ya mujrimun, like that. So this is 2 hours now, and Meera Bai's and Radha Rani's story goes on. This is what part is it? And it's very serious, dead serious. So I'll come back tomorrow, maybe later in the night if I wake up. I will wake up and then I will perhaps, let's see. I do not plan anything. This is spontaneous. And whatever comes out, the way it comes out. So, Mrs. Munira Gulzar changed on me, finally. And I was supposed to take it, but they made me go insane. And you see, Mommy, वो अब चाहे मारू उठे या बाबा, यारा मैंने तो हाँ कर ली, तू है मुद्दत से दिल में समाई, कब कहा मैंने मैं हूँ पराई, मैं उसी वक्त कदमों में आई. Okay, this is out of tune. But, oh God, it's 2 hours now. And what's that one? The one Zina, the one. Rang laya hai maine dupatta. Something like that, yes. So, ये जो चिलमन है, ये जो चिलमन है. No, the Qawwali. So you see, where is my mommy? I'm calling out. Ab chahe marute ya baba, ab chahe rabrute ya tana. So mommy, come to me, hurry, hurry, lover. Paula Abdul. So where are you? How come this Facebook? I must object, and there's no way. I must complain that they want me to commit suicide. वैसे भी corona virus है. And then I will go into this religious after Meera by. Maybe we are coming back, and I don't know what it is. We are coming all the time. We are here. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Radha. No, it's sorry. It's Radha. It's what? It's Oh Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare is Radhe, they say. Radha Rani. Meerabai. So where I showed her sorry, I have to come out with, this is very, very bad. So anyways, Allah, poor Krishna is married now, and his wife is going to feel really bad if she, I'm sure if she will be here. It is a very personal matter. He's a very personal type person. He doesn't say a word, and he's married. So I'm the kind of person who, once someone is married, then I do not go back to that person. But here he is, and he is, from my father's side. So Krishna is going to kill me, and what is this? Sri Krishna is not going to kill me. That I'm bringing out without his permission. His real name, I'm not coming out with it. It's like whatever it is. Excuse me, that is just on Facebook. I liked heart. And so I'm going now. This is too much. I don't think I should put my Ram Kahani. Radha Meerabai. And such a long one, and God knows what ranting and things I've done, whatever I've said. What's, yeah, oh, so what? Excuse me, God, you always rant, speak, or shout at length in an angry, impassioned way. Ranting, monotonous, boring. God, you always do this to me. You never care about Radha. I am Radha Rani. Sarah, you are Radha Rani. So this is my mother's voice coming out. Zara Auntie, Devi, I